active member of NET, and he's doing a lot for ICT conferences. And he's also involved in connecting classroom with Hassim, as they call them ambassadors of connecting classroom. And Mr. Zoubair is a pillar for my Agadir. Mr. Zoubair, you can start.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start with I was just told that I need to keep the microphone so close to my chamber, so I'm just speaking. I'll start with two pieces of news. I'll start with the good piece, which is that you won't have to take notes. There is a handout. Okay? The other piece of news, which is not so good, is that you'll have, I hope that you're going to leave this presentation with an assignment. But it's a homework to use classroom terminology or jargon. We'll have enough time to complete this assignment. It could be something like weeks or even months. So, but the deadline is inshallah the next ICT conference. So please remind me by the end of this session, make sure you get your assignment. Okay. Now we can start with the... Before we go on to the presentation, I'd like to start with a set of principles for assumptions. Okay? So, we'll call them assumptions. So please interrupt me if there is anything you don't agree with. Okay? The first assumption is that research or educational research has proved that successful educators, successful teachers are the ones who constantly reflect upon their teaching and their teaching practices. To give you a very simple example, I've taught 4 classes today, or I've taught 6 classes by the end of the week. I should give myself some time to ask very simple questions like, how did the lesson go? What went well? What didn't? How can I do better next time? Very simple question. How did the lesson go? What went well? What didn't? How can I do better next time? Very simple. Now, more successful teachers, more successful educators ask deeper or more, I wouldn't say philosophical, but rather sort of thought-provoking questions. So one of the questions that you can ask yourself, that we can ask ourselves here, that might sound stupid, is, why am I here today? Why am I here for the 3 days or 4 days of the conference? I'll save you the trouble of answering the question, because I know you didn't get enough sleep last night. And so I assume, we assume, all of us, that we are here because we are sure, we are convinced of the utility of personal growth and professional development. Am I right? Okay. So we also assume that real teacher development should be a process, not a product. Not, I got my diploma from VNS, from the CPR, I am developed, I don't need to go on to grow anymore. So it's a process. This process should be career-long, ongoing, not just lifelong. So not just career-long, but also lifelong. Another characteristic of real teacher development is that it's something that should come from within. It's not imposed. It should be self-initiated. And I have to assure you that you're exactly this right category. You are here not because you delegate or the academy director asked you to be here. Because you are here, because you want to be here, because you are convinced of the utility, how you said before, of professional development. So number one, it's a process. Number two, I'm just checking if you are awake. I'm going. And number three,
it comes with it.
From within. Very good. Now next, another feature is that this teacher development should be purposeful. Should have an aim. That aim should be clear to all of us, to every single person. In general, this aim should be the following. Professional development should aim at updating one's knowledge and one's skills in one's professional field. This is the general aim. Now, speaking of skills, the purpose of today's presentation, hopefully, is to provide you with a tool, an evaluation tool, to help you evaluate your expertise, your professional development. It's like saying, thank God, I know where I'm going. This is the purpose. So the next question that should follow is, am I taking the right route to get there? Or even more, am I taking the right shortcut? Am I taking the most effective way? In other words, am I equipped with the right tools, the right skills to get to that area, to that purpose? And linked to this question is the other one. How do I compare as a teacher in Oujda, in Dafla, in Marrakesh, in Agadir? How do I compare with a colleague from Australia, from Zimbabwe, from Poland, from France, from England, from Canada? How do I compare? So hopefully this is the purpose of this session. Of course, in the so this is the title. As you can see from the title, it's an updated list. Now, I said updated because some years ago I gave a similar presentation about the skills that were needed for educators 5 years ago. As you're going to see, the list is almost totally different. That reminds me of a notion which exists in many countries, which is that of recertification. Let's say a Department of Education hired me to teach English in 2005. I have 5 years or 6 years later, I have to sit down and take another test, which is called recertification. In other words, they're telling me, we hired you 5 years ago to a group or category of learners using some tools. Now, 5 years later, we want to check if you are up to date. You were good teaching the kids to 5 years ago, but we want to check if you are able to teach today's kids. Today's kids are totally different from the ones you had 5 years ago. Is that clear? Now, I'm afraid that I have just to go very briefly to the list that I presented 5 years ago, which I got for lucky to share with you. See Mohammed? See Mohammed?
We go back to this one.
Okay. 5 years ago, it was enough to know how to use a scanner. How to download the software. 5 years ago, it was enough if you know how to video conference, how to make sure that your computer doesn't get infected, how to use a digital camera, how to manage your email, how to create a database on your computer, how to design a website, how to word process text, how to install software on your computer. Don't worry, all these documents are going to be in the reference. How to use, for example, Excel sheets for your students' grades. How to manage files, copy a file from here, delete a file. How to use external devices like your USB keys. How to give presentation skills like these. Sorry, how to give oral or electronic presentations like these. How to know a little bit about the deep web. Deep web very simply means that every time you go online and you want to conduct a research, what happens is that you get a lot, sometimes millions of pages. But this is a skill that's very important. You have to know that what you get after this simple, straightforward skill search is just 10% of what exists on the internet which is related to your search. That's good? You start a search. You get a lot of results. These results you get constitute something like just 10% of what exists on the internet about the topic of your search. And more important is that what you get in terms of quality is perhaps less and much less than what exists on the internet. So deep web is very important. So you have all the information about that in the document. You also have, it was enough to know how to navigate the web, how to, for some people, how to use the internet or intranet in the school network, how to know about educational copyright, and how to use personal digital assistants like those agendas, etc. Some people, for example, because at the time, WebSeek and Blackboard were sort of learning management systems at the time. Okay, 5 years ago, if you knew these skills, if you mastered these skills, it was enough. But now we're in 2011, so we have a totally new, different set of skills. Here they are. Yes. So hopefully we'll have time to cover this. So we'll identify the most ICT, most useful ICT skills on the list. We'll also try time permitting to rank them, and then we'll try to give you, this I think should be the most interesting part. Yes, everyone here should have the opportunity to evaluate their skills, their knowledge, their expertise in ICT. Okay? And then hopefully we'll have time to discuss the impact of those skills on language learning in class. And finally, and this is the assignment. Before you leave this, don't say, this is my action plan. This is what I need to work on for next year, inshallah. Okay, so here are the skills. I'll go through them very briefly. Okay, the skills, number one, is that you should know how to help your students develop an electronic portfolio. Next, you need yourself to design an electronic portfolio. I was talking to some teachers yesterday, and one of them right now is in a place, I think, in Scandinavia. And one of the purposes why that teacher got that position, summer position, is that he got an electronic portfolio compared to other candidates. And then you should know how to use social media, such as Facebook, that many speakers talked about before, including Hassim. How to identify, make sure that you know, and that your students know, there are some websites or some resources that are not secure. Not secure for them culturally, not secure for them, so given their age group, etc. And next, how to make use of an interactive whiteboard, how to create materials for the interactive whiteboard, how to evaluate applications to enhance students' learning. Here I refer you to Hassim's list from yesterday about the skills. Do you remember the switch from the 3 R's to the 7 C's? Okay. So I want to touch upon that. Okay, you've got those skills in mind. These are the learning skills that my students need. Now, what are the ICT tools that they can use, that they can make use of to help students develop those learning skills? Okay? How to exploit digital images for online materials, how to develop online learning activities, like this, for example. How to edit digital audio. You've got a piece of audio materials, or an audio document that you want to use in class. How to edit it, make it short, add music, etc. How to create audio projects. I observed one of the classes recently where the teacher provided the class with a conversation where they had only questions and the students had to respond. And the software, the tool, recorded the whole dialogue. So they got the opportunity. They couldn't believe this. Is it my voice that you could hear? Is it me talking to that native speaker? So this is just an example of that. How to create and edit digital audio, video. Okay, create it. You should know how to edit it, how to make it shorter, how to add music to it, how to add text, etc. How to create an online sharing channel. I think maybe Hassim talked about that. We'll talk about it. Maybe later, For those of you who were at the CCO workshop, it's very easy. You can create your channel on YouTube. Very easy. In case no one touches upon this, all you do is just go to Google and say, how can I create my personal channel on YouTube? Very easy. 3, 4, 5 simple steps. How to create digital narratives. I think Photo Story does that. How to use text annotation. I think someone maybe said, did you ask a question, I think yesterday, how can you provide feedback to your students' writing? It was something like this.
How you can monitor the students' writing.
Yes, good. Now, to explain text annotation as the means here simply means the following. In the traditional setting, if your students, or if you have sort of exchange of ideas with a group of people, normally you get the piece of writing, you write comments on it. Say, I like the first idea, I don't agree with the second one. Or you can write a report. Concerning the idea in the first paragraph, I don't totally agree with that, but I like the second second paragraph. Now, there are tools that help you do this on the internet. So you don't have to write all that. For example, you can have the text or the email, and you can, if you like an idea, you just add an emoticon, smiling face, for example. If you don't agree, you say, So you can use different colors, etc. So, social bookmarking. Bookmarking your own notes, like just create a set of favorites on your page. When it comes to social bookmarking, is that you create your favorite list, I create my own, and we share it on a social media. So, for example, if I'm conducting a research, you get access to my favorite, and we get access to the community's favorites or bookmarks. Okay, how to use a wiki for collaborative learning? Computer games also. Students like computer games a lot. So we need to think. There are possibilities of making use of those tools as well. How to identify, there are a lot of materials that you can make yourself using mobile devices. For example, that you can get your students to use on their mobile phones. So these are ready-made. You have to know how to identify them, how to find them, and how to create them. Create your own material that students can have on their mobile devices. How to exploit materials that we have online to enhance students' learning. And here, this is different from the next item, which is, next please. Yes, this is for students in class learning. I need also to think about materials that students can make use of to enhance learner autonomy. This is the kind of material that you can do and you can conduct, you can complete at home without me, the teacher, being by your side. Be straightforward with examples and everything. How to find and evaluate authentic evaluation here, if it's worth trying. How to exploit, how to use webcasts for creation of teaching and learning materials. How to exploit webcams for students' projects. Webcams doesn't mean necessarily the webcam that you have in your computer. It could be just the cam that they have in their cell phones. And by the way, it enhances a lot students' motivation. When you ask them to work on projects, you ask them to take pictures or to videotape the project, it adds a whole new dimension to their work and to their learning. How to make use of different tools to manage a project, to manage your teaching. For example, you create a wiki, a web page, and students contributing to that web page. How can I, as a teacher, I don't have the time to remind students of their assignment every time. Is there a tool that can do this automatically? There are. I can tell the tool, please remind my class every 2 days about the assignment for next week. It does it automatically. Can you please tell me out of this class how many people contributed to the discussion? I don't have time to track it. Can you tell me, can you show me a graph with the students' contribution is going like this or is going like this? I think in the past, Yahoo Groups does a lot of this. Okay, next. Use a range of mobile devices. It's not just cell phones, it could be students have now MP3s, MP4s, etc. In addition to their laptops, how to create a wiki blog. Actually, it should be and, not just for. If you are internet alive, you should be able to create your own website, your own blog, and your own wiki. And even more, help your students do the same. Okay, now, how to use, if you want to monitor students' work, either synchronously at the same time or asynchronously, there are tools for that. Next please, same thing, if students, let's say I want my students to come up to work on a project, and they want them to come up with a final report on the project, right? Now, I need to help them provide them with some tools on which they can work collaboratively on that final report. There are tools for this. Okay, some of them are synchronous, some are not. And for editing, the teacher can also help with that. Next page, well, it's almost over. So you can use webcam also for online synchronous communication. I think many of you are doing this already. Screen capture videos are very important. This simply means, thank you. Now, this simply means that instead of me as a teacher explaining a process or a procedure to my students, I can go home, I can do it on my computer, and they can screen capture all the steps and create a tutorial for my students. It saves me a lot of time and effort. I can send that tutorial to my students and say, teacher, I forgot what you told us last time. What was step number 2? Go to the tutorial. Okay, deliver asynchronous online presentations and synchronous ones as well, which is the last one. So, I'm afraid we're running out of time, so we'll just skip some tasks. The first task here, yes, Mohammed. Task 1, okay, I'll provide you with the handouts right away. Thank you. Okay, on your handouts, I assume Olga. Okay, did you all get a copy? Okay. Now, we don't have time for tests, for tasks 1 and 2. We'll just jump to task number 3, please, on page 2, which is using the chart, take the skills you master well. So all you do, please, is you go to the column here of skills, the list of skills, you take quickly, please, you have about 30 seconds, tick plus or minus. If you master the skill, you tick a plus. If you don't, you just tick a minus. We'll just tick it. Okay, 30 seconds, please. Master simply means you know about it. It doesn't mean you have to be an expert at this one. If you know about it, that's right class. We're looking for the fastest achievers. Has anyone finished, please? This one. Has anyone finished, please? Just one, just one. Okay, now we're sorry we're running out of time, but please, this is your assignment. You go home. The skills you need to acquire or develop by next year, inshallah, are the funds which you have minus. So I think one of the participants almost completed it. Can you please tell us the one you need to work on for next year, inshallah?
Show, configure, yes. Switch on, configure and access materials on interactive, yes. 5. Also 6. Yes. 14. Create an online media sharing channel. 15. Create and exploit digital narratives for learning purposes. Use a webcam for online, synchronous and asynchronous communication.
This is an example. So the ones you haven't crossed with the plus, stick with the plus. These are the ones you need to work on. Okay, thank you very much.